Hi guys, we'll be looking at what all new features we have with FIDINA 3.4 in this webinar. So let's start with the new enhancements that we have. So the first one is the dashlet that you see here. So these are the dashlets that were available with FIDINA. And you will see that these dashlets were not clickable. Now, let's say this is a leave application that is applied and I've logged in as a manager. So I can see that this leave application is applied by this employee. And when I click on it, it'll take me to the leave application directly. So earlier this functionality was not there. This is a new enhancement that has come with FIDINA 3.4. So I can directly click on the dashlet and I can either approve or deny the leave application in this case. So let's see some other dashlets as well. So here I'll be able to see the timetable. So when I click on this period, when I click on the subject, I'll be able to see the timetable like this. So it takes me to the timetable viewing. Then for the admitted students, we can see their profile. So when I click on this name, it will take me to the profile of this student. So this data palette plugin, which we enable, because of which the dashlets appear here, it has been optimized by reducing the load time of the user's dashboard. So it is more interactive user experience now. And dashlets no longer only display information, but also has links, as we've seen here. And on clicking on the links, we'll get appropriate information about that dashlet. So this is the dashlet plugin, and this is about the data palette optimization. So now let's see another important enhancement that was requested by a lot of clients, and we have done it in privileges, finance privileges of an employee. So when we go to user here, and we search some user, which is an employee. For this user, you will see that I can edit the privilege here. And finance control, this is a new privilege breakup that has come. So for this employee, as per what I want this employee to be able to do in finance, so I can check those options here. So earlier this finance was only one as a single module, which is finance control. Now it has been split up into different sections. So the employee will be able to do what you assign in finance to that employee and not everything in finance. So here, when I see this finance is now break up into a lot of links, and we can assign them as per the requirement. So here, when we go to administration, when we go to user, and when we search the employee, so we can edit the privilege of this employee and give him any finance control. So manage fees will allow him to manage, create the fees, create the category, create discounts. Fee submission will allow him to collect the fees. And all these details are also available in our blog. So here we have this is the link that I'm going to also put in the chat. So here, all these features are mentioned. And to see more details, you can click on this. For example, I'm telling you about this finance control privilege. So when you click on this, you will be able to see more details about each and every privilege. So when I assign this manage fee, what the employee can do. When I assign fee submission, what the employee can do, and so on. So I am pinging this link in the chat for your reference. This link also tells you about the new features that we have with FIDINA 3.4. Along with, when you click on the name of the feature here, you'll be able to get more details about it. So this is about the enhancement in finance control privileges. Then we have custom fee payment date. So we'll go to administration, we'll go to finance here, and we'll collect the fees. So earlier when we used to collect the fees here, by any means, by the three options that we have there, when we used to collect the fee, we are going to get, we would not get this payment date option. So now we have this payment date option which will be appearing in the receipt when we generate here. For example, this payment has been done on 8th, on 9th, and now it can be done for today, it can be done for a past date, it can be done for a future date. So these are the partial payments that I've done. Let me do one more partial payment, which is for, let's say, for previous date, which is 11th. So it will get added here, and I can do it for a future date along with today, of course. So let me do this payment like this. And when I print the receipt and the payment history, I'll be getting the payment dates as well, like this. So earlier, you were allowed to create a fee payment transaction only for the current date. Now in this release, in FEDINA 3.4, you will be able to select a past or future date and create a fee payment transaction as the way I've shown you here. So this is in fees. Then let's see another enhancement in fees refund. So we can create a refund rule with a specific amount as well. Earlier, we only had an option of percentage. So here I've already created a refund rule. We can also view the refund rules which are already created by clicking on view refund rules, and for a particular collection I'll be able to see the refund rule. So this is an amount that I have assigned. You can see it is an amount. It can be in the form of percentage of the full fee, or it can be a fixed amount, which is the new enhancement that we have. So now I can apply this refund. So for that, let me search a student who has already paid fees. So this refund is applicable only for the students who have paid the fees. And here I can create a refund for this fee category, which is academic year. So let me first create a refund. Right now it is coming as 0 because I have not created any refund. So let me create a refund. So it is for this. We can give a refund name. So let's say it is the security deposit refund in this fee collection, which is a fixed amount. Let's say it's 6,000, and I can create it. And then I can apply this refund to the students who have paid in that category already. So this is the student who have paid in this category, and he has paid the security deposit to be 6,000, as you can see. So these are the particulars, and let's say the student has paid the security deposit, which is refunded to him when he is leaving the institution. So let's take that as a scenario. And here I've created the refund amount to be 6,000, which is applicable to this fee collection. And the whole amount can be refunded. We can mention the description here. And we can refund this amount back. Not only refunding, it is also possible to revert this amount which we have refunded. So in case it has been done by a mistake, it can be reverted, or the amount can be changed. When we revert it here, we can change this amount here. This amount is editable. So this is about fees refund, where we have got an option to add amount. We have got an option to revert the refunded amount. So let's see another enhancement here, which we have in fee defaulters. So previously, all students were listed as a fee defaulter until the fees were paid. With this release, students are listed as fee defaulters only if the fee collection due date has passed. So for this course, for this fee collection, these are the students who have not paid after the due date is exceeded. So previously, we could see all the students until the fees were paid. So even if due date has not reached, we were able to see all the students in this list. Now these students are the only ones who are left to be paid the amount and the due date is crossed for them. So these are the enhancements that we've got with the finance module. Now let's move on to online examination. So here, when I log in as a student, let's say online examination was created for me and I've attended it. And now when I log in as a student here, when I go to academics, online exam, and when I go to view results, and I can see the answer sheet. This option was earlier also there, but I could not see the correct answers. Now here we've got the option which shows you the correct answer as well. So what the answer was marked by the student is this. This is one of the options. And what the actual correct answer is displayed like this as correct answer. So you can see for this question, this is the correct answer. And since this is only the correct answer and he scored the correct marks, the full marks for this objective question, he is not shown the correct answer because he's marked the correct answer already. Whereas for this question, he's marked the incorrect answer, so he's shown the correct answer for the objective questions. So this option is there for the objective questions as per what the question creator has selected while creating the question. So those options will be coming as the correct answers if the student has marked them otherwise. So this is the change that we've got in online exam part of examination module. Another change in examination is the calculation of GPA. So here when we do the settings in examination for GPA, there was nothing called as GPA settings, but we've got this because there are two ways in which we can do these settings. So to calculate CGPA, here these are the two formulas that can be used as per the university's evaluation criteria. So we've come up with these two formulas. So the first formula is the GPA of each batch divided by the total number of batches. And the other formula is GPA of each batch. These are the actually not GPA, these are the grade points. Not the grade point averages, but the total grade points of each batch divided by the total credit hours of each batch. So these are the two formulas. We can even view the examples here. It will make more clear as to what your institution is following, and you can select the one that suits you. So we can select from these criteria, from these examples here, what we want for CGPA calculation. And in the report, we are going to see, as per our selection, the final CGPA. So this is another setting that we have done in examination module. Now let's see one more setting, which is in ICSE reports. So when we go to Report Center and when we go to ICSE reports, and here, when we see the subject-wise report or the consolidated report, and I select some options here, and I view it, it appears like this. So it shows that for standard 1, for this batch, for this subject, how much the student, all the students will be appearing here. I only have one student in this batch, so only one is appearing. So how much the students have scored in term 1 and term 2 for internal assessment. We can see for internal and external as well like this. And when we used to get the CSV report of it, when I open this CSV report for this criteria, filters that I've selected, earlier I only used to get this part, which is the row 7, 8, and 9, which only shows me the details. Now it also shows the criteria that I've selected like this. So it shows the filters as well, along with the filtered report. So the CSV output of subject-wise report, which is the one that we've just selected, and also for the consolidated report will include the filter criteria used to generate the report. And another enhancement that we have is in View Student Report. So here when I'm viewing the report of the student, I'll be able to see the grading levels that are set. So these are the grading levels that are set. This is only for the reference because I'm using grades here, so I can refer to them here as well. So actually these grading levels are coming from when we go to set grading levels in settings, you will see that these are the grading levels that I've set. And the same grading levels are displayed in reports for the reference of the student so that he can compare. So when I go to View Student Report and select the batch, and for a particular student, this is the report that I'm going to get: internal assessment, external assessment, and the total for term 1. And similarly for term 2, I'll get the attendance report. These were already there in FEDINA. New enhancement is the grading levels that are shown as per the changes that we've done in set grading levels. So this is the enhancement that we've done in ICSE. One more enhancement that you will see here, these marks that you see, they are rounded off. And rounding off is done, for example, if the marks are between 85.50 and 85.99, the marks will be rounded off to 86. And accordingly, the grade might change. If the marks are between 85.01 and 85.49, they will be rounded off to 85. So those changes are done here, and the grade might change if it lies on the boundary. So these are the changes that we have done in examination module. Now let's go to HR. And here, we can create a payslip of an employee. So let me first create a payslip and then show you what is the change that we have done. So let's say for this employee, and let's say that all these figures, let me reset them. So here, let's say the basic salary of this employee is 90,000, which is a fixed component, and these are the dependent components that automatically appeared. And I want to generate the payslip of this employee for the month of January. Let's say for this employee, professional tax and fixed, which are the payroll categories that I've created, they're not applicable. So I put them as 0. So I can create this payslip. So this payslip will be generated for this employee. And now the member of finance has to approve the payslip. So here I can view the payslip of that employee and I can approve it for this month. So this is the payslip. It is pending. I can view it. And you will see that the fixed component, which is 0, and professional tax, which is 0, is appearing here. But let me just approve it. So I have approved this salary slip for this employee for the month of January. Now let me log in as this employee, and this employee will be able to see the salary slip in his profile. So that was already there in FEDINA. Let me show you that. So here this profile has to go to academics, his profile, and under salary, payslip, and he can select the month, and you will see that the components for which 0 was assigned as the amount are not appearing. So that is the new enhancement that we have. So previously, payroll categories with 0 entries were displayed in the employee's payroll details and in the payslip. With FEDINA 3.4, payroll categories with 0 entries are not displayed in the employee's payroll details and the payslips. And also you will see here that the payroll categories have been categorized into earnings and deductions separately for the clarity of the user. So this is a change that we have done with FEDINA 3.4. Let's see some other module, which is custom reports. In custom report, we have a new option here where we can display the parent username as well in the report. So here, this option was not there earlier, but now we can see the parent username as well for the particular report that I am filtering. So here, if I've selected that parent username will also be appearing as a column. Now let's see some changes that we have with timetable in FEDINA. So we'll go to academics, we'll go to timetable. So the first change that we have here is the default class timing set, which is already there in FEDINA, but it will be assigned to the new batches that you create automatically. So let's say these are the new batches that I've created. So the default class timing set is automatically assigned to them. But here, a change that we need to do is we need to edit the default class timing set. So here you will observe that for the first time, so let me open a new school that I have. So for the first time, when I see the class timing set, only default will be coming here. And you will see that by default, all the batches that I've created, they will be having default class timing set. But if you see the details of this default class timing set, it will be empty. So this default class timing set has to be created so that from the subsequent batches, along with the existing batches, they are going to follow this class timing set. So let me just create few class timings here for this default class timing set. So in this way, the default class timing set has to be edited as per what your school or your college is following. So let's say we have till here. So this is the default class timing set now, and all these batches along with the new batches that I create will be following that default class timing set. So this is the first enhancement that we have. Now let's see another enhancement in the timetable that we have. So when we were editing a class timing set, so this is the academic year duration of a batch. So here I can edit entries, and here for a particular batch I'll be able to see this, which is a timetable that I've already created, or if I wish to create a timetable. And here you will see that you have an option of manage timetable. So here for this duration that you have selected, you will be able to assign or de-assign the batches. So this is very handy. So all the new batches, you can assign them for this duration that is already there by selecting from here and clicking on this arrow. So they will be assigned for this timetable. And then when you assign them, so let me assign one of the batches. Let's say C2A 2015 is the one that I've assigned. Now this batch will be appearing in the drop down, and I can create timetable for this batch. So here I'll be able to select the subject, and I'll be able to assign the employees to it. So this is a new enhancement that we have. So now here one more enhancement in the class timing sets. So you will see that I have so many class timing sets, and there are few class timing sets that I cannot add more classes into. For example, class timings for grade 3, there is no option add here. Whereas for class timing for all levels, you will see that I have an option to add. So this is because this class timing for grade 3 is already used by some batch. So now I cannot edit it. I can only edit the names of the periods or the timings of the periods. I cannot add more periods to it because this class timing set is already used by a batch. So it means that if a class timing set is assigned to a batch, that is assigned a timetable, you can only edit the existing class timing records and not delete or add class timing records. So these are the enhancements that we have in timetable. Let's see one more enhancement. So here for a particular duration, let's say I'm editing the timetable and today is 12th January. And when I change the end date of this timetable, so let's say it is an ongoing timetable as you can see, and I've changed the end date to 19th from 16th. You will see that the timetable will split into two timetables. That used to happen earlier as well. So you will get this option, warning, and when you click on OK, you will be able to see that I've got two timetable durations now. But earlier, it used to split for today and the rest of the week, but now it is splitting from the day the change is there. So since the change is from 17th, so it is splitting from that day. So that is the first change. And you will observe that both the timetables will continue to have the same settings. So here for 12th to 16th, when I edit entries, I will be able to see the changes that I have here. And similarly, I'll be able to see them for the other timetable that I just created for a particular batch. So you will see that the timetable entries remain. Only the duration is extended and the timetable is split from the change when you have done it. So it means when you extend the timetable date range and click the update button, the timetable will split into two timetables, and both the timetables will continue to have all the existing settings. And one more change that we have here, you might have observed that when you will be clicking on edit entries, you used to get a warning about deletion of the data. Attendance entries, class allocations, SAP timetable entries, etc. So you would be getting that warning when it is an ongoing timetable. For example, from 12 Jan to 16 Jan, it's an ongoing timetable. And when I click on edit entries, I used to get a warning that is not shown now. So what actually happens, now when you click on edit entries button, you can select the batch and edit the subject entries. So let's say I'm selecting this batch and I can edit the subject entries. Let's say I'm removing this subject. Now that warning is now split here. So it means that all the subject related attendance, the timetable swaps and classroom allocations will be deleted only for this subject. So instead of the full timetable, it only deletes for the subject that you are changing. So let me summarize it. Previously, when you used to click the edit entries button, all the attendance entries, swapped entries, and class allocations were deleted for the complete timetable period. But now when you click the edit entries button, you can select the batch and you can edit that particular subject entries. And any change made to a subject entry for which attendance is already there. So let's say you have subject-wise attendance and you have already marked attendance for 12th Jan, which is an ongoing timetable. So only that entry, attendance entry, swap timetable entry, and class allocation will be deleted only for this subject for the whole timetable period. So these are the enhancements that we have with the timetable in FEDINA 3.4. Then there is FEDINA mobile version as well. So that is a mobile plugin when you enable it from your SAS account. In that plugin, the swapped employees can also mark student attendance now. So if you're swapping an employee using swapped timetable, here timetable tracker and swap timetable, so the new employee which you have swapped. So let's say for this batch, we are changing. So this new teacher who is changed for today will be able to mark attendance using FEDINA mobile version. Now let's see another enhancement that we have, that is in apps. So this is the app frame plugin. When we go to manage apps and when we are creating an app frame for a particular app which wants to access FEDINA data. So here I have already created one, and here name, URL, client name and privilege list was what was appearing earlier also. The new thing that we have is the option to open inside app, so inside FEDINA itself, or open in a new tab. So this application interface that is accessing FEDINA data can be opened inside FEDINA itself, or it can be opened in a new tab. Insecure applications, which means HTTP applications, will always open in a new tab by default. So this open in new tab option will be marked here for the HTTP applications. So here, let me show you this. For this application that is already there, I have given an option to open in new tab. So you will see this icon here, which is open in a new tab, and it will be opening in the new tab. If you mark it open inside app, so when you click on this application, you will see that it is going to load in the new tab itself. And generally this application will be the one that will be accessing FEDINA data and not a static application, although you can have both static and dynamic application here. So here let's see another module which we have enhanced, which is custom import. So in custom import, as you might already be aware, that you can import data in bulk in FEDINA. So when you used to import the data, you will be looking at the error logs here. So you can see import log details. And for success, it will show you the row numbers, the status, and what is the description. Now, in case it is a failure, you sometimes might have observed that the description is not so user-friendly. So that is what used to happen earlier. So now, with FEDINA 3.4, we have made these error messages more user-friendly. So let me show you for one such import that I have done. For example, this is the import, and here when I see the error log, I'll be able to see what is the exact description that is expected, and I can change accordingly in the Excel sheet and I can upload it. Then we have another change, which is an SMS alert. So here, as you know, that automatic SMSs are sent for these 4 options. That are the first 4 options that you see here. So whenever a student is admitted, exam is scheduled, result is published, a student is absent, or an event is created. So in these cases, the involved participants will be getting an automatic SMS. And that alert format now has been updated to comply with the Telecom Regulatory Authority of India guidelines. So that is a change. The template in which we send the message has now changed as per what is there in the TRAI guidelines. So these are the enhancements that we have with FEDINA 3.4. Now we are going to see the new features that we have with FIDINA 3.4. So the first feature that we are going to see is attendance of the student. So when we go to attendance, you will see this new link here, which is a day-wise attendance report. So when we click on it, we'll be able to see who all students, how many students are there for today. So overall strength, which is 75 on 75, meaning that 75 are present and total number of students are 75. So if I mark a student absent for today, so let me mark a student absent for today in any batch. And if I see the day-wise report now, it is going to show that there are 74 students present overall. And I can see the absentees here. All the batches will be listed, all the courses, all the batches, and I can click on the batch to see which student is absent. And this can be done for a particular date. It can also be done for previous date. So I'll be able to see the changes here for the previous date. So who all were present, who all were absent in this full school, in the full institution can be seen, and on clicking on a particular batch, it shows the absentee names as well. So the day-wise attendance report displays the number of students present in your institution for a specific date, as well as the number of students absent in a batch for a specific date. So this is a new feature. Now let's see another new feature, which is reverting an archived or a former student. So first let me show you how to revert a student. So we were able to revert a student by going to student details, and here let me search a student who I can revert. So here, let's say this is the student, which is user 53. And here, you can see that I get an option to delete. So let's say this student has been transferred to in another school, and I want to delete the details of this student from my FIDINA. But this student you can either remove the student records completely, or you can generate a transfer certificate for this student. Removing the student record, you will not be able to find the student details at all in FIDINA. So it's like by mistake you have added the student and you do not want to keep his details, any details in FIDINA, then you can go for this option. But if a student is leaving the institution, so we can generate the transfer certificate for this student. So let me do it for some other student who does not have any records pending. So here, let's say this is a student, and here I can delete, I can mention the reason for leaving, and the leaving date, which will be appearing in the transfer certificate of this student. So this user 76 is the student who has now become former. So if I try to search this student in the list of present students, so these are present students. If I try to search the student, I'll not be getting it. Whereas since the student is now a former student, I can get it. Now, the new feature that we have come up with is revert archived student. So I can revert the student, and he will again become the part of FIDINA, and he will be one of the active students. I can create examinations, I can create courses, I can assign timetable and so on for this student. And by reverting the student, all the settings and the archived records of the student are restored, except for the placement records, online exams that he has attempted, the hostel details of the student, and the transport details of the student. So except these three options, all the other details of the student are reverted back, are restored successfully. So let me summarize it. In addition to searching and viewing a former student's information, you can also make a former student active by reverting the archived student. And when you do that, all the settings and archived records of the student are restored except placement, online exam, hostel, and transport details. So now let's see another new feature that we have, which is in transport. So you will see this manage vehicle additional details and manage route additional details. So in manage vehicle additional details, like for student and like for employee, we can create our details. For example, we can create our custom fields. For example, driver. So I want to attach the driver details for a particular vehicle. So I've created those fields, and when I'm adding a vehicle, you will see here that when I add a vehicle, it is going to ask me these details as well. So these are custom made. And also I'll be able to see them when I view it. So when you will see that when I view this vehicle, I'll be able to see these details that I filled in. So these are the vehicle additional details. In the same way, we have manage route additional details. So here I'm taking distance from school, which is a custom created field. It means when I'm going to add a route, it is going to ask me what is the distance from school. And it is also going to display when I view that route. So these are the additional details for route and for vehicle. Now in transport, another enhancement that we have, another feature that we have is in transport fee collection, where we can create fee collection for a particular user. So here, let's say we have created a fee collection for a batch. This feature was already there. We could create a fee collection for a batch. Now we can, let's say there's a new user who in that batch who wants to avail transport facility. So I can create either a new collection for those students who are new, or I can assign the existing collection itself. So I need to mention who is the new student who was not earlier assigned fee collection from this batch. So let's say, okay, so here we first have to assign to the new student, we need to assign the transport. So here we'll go to, we'll find the student. So here it was user 77. And for this student, I have to assign the main route, the destination where she'll get down, the vehicle, and like this. So once this student has been assigned, now we can go to user-wise collection. And here we have to assign, since he belongs to G5A 2014, I need to assign him from an existing batch itself. So here I can assign this fee, and now I can find this student. It will be appearing like this. I can do this assignment for more than one student as well, and I can create this. So once I have done this, for this user I'll be able to collect the fee. So this is a new feature that we have got, where the new students or the students who are availing the transport facility after the fee collection for transport has been created for that batch, they can be either assigned a new collection or they can be assigned from an existing collection as well. So this option here of user-wise fee collection is the new one. So let me just summarize. In addition to creating a transport fee collection for each batch, you can also assign an existing transport fee collection to a student, or you can create a new transport fee collection from here. This can be done for the student as well as for the employee. So these are the changes that we have in transport module. Then let's see the hostel module. So we'll go to administration and hostel. And like for transportation, we have additional details for hostel as well. So I have like manage hostel additional details. So this total number of fields, total number of rooms is a custom field that I've created. And this field will be appearing when I add a new hostel. So when I add this hostel here by clicking on this add hostel, it is going to ask me the total number of rooms. And I can also view it as per what I've entered. So these are the additional details that we can attach with the hostel. Same way we can do it with the room as well. So for a room, if you want to attach some details, while creating that room, it is going to ask you that custom field. So these are the additional details. And like we have for transport, we also have user-wise fee collection for hostel. So in addition to creating a hostel fee collection for a batch that was already there, you can also assign an existing fee collection. So here, for a particular batch. So let me again do the same thing that I've done for transport. So first I have to allocate a room to this new student. So let's say this is the student. I can select the hostel and I can assign him this hostel. Now once I've assigned the hostel, let's say I've already done batch-wise fee collection for the batch in which the student was there. So I'll go to user-wise fee collection, choose from this batch. So this is her batch, and I can search the student here like this, and I am creating or I'm assigning this existing fee collection to that student. And now I can take the hostel fee from that student. So for this student, I can collect the hostel fee amount. So these are the new features that we have, along with the last feature that I'm going to tell you about now is in settings, general settings. So Fedina is also available in Dutch language now. So that is a new addition along with the other languages that we have. So we have done with the enhancements and we have done with new features that have come up with Fedina 3.4.